Hi, this first video is to show the concept of binder art. This is pretty much a regular binder where the students will put in all the objects they need to use in the representation of their story. And it can be any kind of binder. It can be, this is a small binder, but they could use one of those big zipper binders to keep their stuff tidy and get ready for their presentation. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up my binder and set up my storytelling station. So I have, and these are everyday objects. I have a car here, un carro amarillo, and in here I actually have a tiny harmonica, so we can make some music. Harmonica, a camera, plastic toy camera, a book. So in this type of storytelling you can use pictures that are already in a book to represent. Here I have some giraffes, jirafas, to make it easier for the student to work with different images and objects, everyday objects. For example, here I have two different types of metals. I have gold looking metal and silver looking metal, so I can use contrasting ideas, silver and gold, or comparing ideas, comparative ideas. Here is a small stool. Here is a flute, and this is actually going to be one of our characters in the story. It's Mr. Flute, El Chico Flauta. And here's another image of a donkey from a vintage book that we're going to use. A Halloween happy face. So when the characters are happy, we could portray their happiness with this image. And then the concept of using words, like you could use a word in Spanish and then the translation in English. This is something that I actually saw at a puppet theater in Paris, and I was very impressed how they convey some of the ideas on the stage by using flashcards. Theirs were only in French, but they were obvious. They were like the days of the week, the months of the year, so those were pretty obvious. But in this type of storytelling from Spanish into English, you could use, a phrase that may be a little bit challenging for them, like no lleva ropa, does not wear any clothes, can be a good way. It's a good way to practice numbers. He is 76 years old. He's not 66. He's not 56. He is not 20. So you can have ideas of it is or it is not. Un hijo muy joven, a very young son. Again, here's the idea of using number and contrasting with other numbers that are not the number you're looking for. There is oro y plata for the metals that I'm going to use in the story, silver and gold, and so on and so forth. So I have those. Here I have my main character. This is a puppet I have been working on for a little while with dry clay, and I sort of transformed this guy into Sushi Man, and his name is Sushi, se llama Sushi. So he's going to be the main character of our story, together with his son Flute. So the idea is to use everyday objects. Here I have a halfway made completed puppet, and I use some needles to put on some legs. These are actually some saxophone reeds, and this is an eraser Sushi, so I gave him a head from a sushi eraser. Here's another book that I'm going to use. I mark the page. I'm going to use the idea of going by plane, so I mark this page. And then I have this clip here that says, I love music. I'm going to use that to tell that Flute loves music. So that's another object. And I got a couple of colors here, markers, different colors. So if I want to talk about different colors in the story, I could use these markers, because I do use, in this story, I do use orange and red. And here's another book. It's a serious pigeon eating a hot dog. And so you can see if you use different pictures from already printed books, famous books, you can really highlight names of animals, foods, things that you have been using in the classroom. We have been using hot dog for a little while, perro caliente, and the kids really love it to joke around the concept of eating 1,000 perro calientes. Here, my characters are going to go to Mexico in the story. So I pull some fabric that I have. This is actually a baby dress with a couple of very stereotypical, actually, Mexican characters. So, but it makes it fun for the kids. And so this is how I'm going to portray that our friends Sushi and Flauta are going to Mexico. And finally, I have here a cardboard. This is actually a puppet theater that I had. So I could use this as a stage to differentiate from one level to another in this story. Alright, so this is it. So this is how you put everything in one binder. And so now I have all my objects on the table. I'm going to set it up and tell the story. Thank you. See you in the next video.